everyone. I'm Nicole Boone. Welcome to Conversations with Nicole. Today, my guest is Donny Gerald. He is the owner of Hidden Acres in Marion, South Carolina. Now, in case you don't know, Hidden Acres in historic Marion has become one of the most desired wedding venues in the South. You'll find it nestled in the country just outside of the city limits. It's described as the perfect location for your dream wedding. It offers rustic charm, natural beauty, a secluded pastoral setting, and unexpected modern amenities. It sounds wonderful, Donny. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to see you again. It's been a while and we've been friends for a long time. Little did we know all those years ago, you would go from still selling cars, but to wedding venues, right?
Yes. Yes. A big jump, big leap.
A lot has changed, but when you thought about this concept of Hidden Acres, it didn't necessarily start as a wedding venue. Tell me your story.
Yeah, not at all, Nicole. I bought the property in 2006 from a friend of mine. It was 37 acres, or is 37 acres. And I dug a pond, built a cabin, and it was just a place to go hunt and fish and hang out with some friends and my father. And then in 2010, a girl I know, she called and she's like, I want to get married there. And I said, well, I don't really have anything to offer. And she said, it doesn't matter. We just want, a setting like that by the water. And so by the time she told me she wanted to get married and when her wedding date was then, I built a pavilion. And a pavilion, it was an open air pavilion. And my thought was, obviously she could have a reception in there, but maybe I could pick up a birthday party or a family reunion. So that was still no weddings, just that was going to be the only wedding. And then it just kind of went from there. We started doing more weddings and everything came in stages. I didn't know anything about the wedding business. So I'm glad I did it the way I did, because if I would have just said I'm going in the wedding business, I would have messed up because I would have put things in the wrong location. I wouldn't have had time to ask couples, ask vendors what they like, what they need. Because it's just as important to impress the vendors and guests as it is the couple and their family. So that's how it started, but everything was in stages. Nothing was done overnight. It was just a work in progress.
Well, gosh, yeah. So you started in 2007 with building the pavilion. Tell me about the other buildings that you have on the property now, and tell folks exactly, I said it was outside of Marion, South Carolina, but tell folks specifically where it's located.
Yeah, it's right off of 501 bypass, about 10 minutes away. It's a gated piece of property. So if you rode by it, you really not going to see anything, which is what I wanted. I
Right.
wanted people to have privacy and enjoy themselves and not worrying about traffic or noise. But I started with the pavilion. Of course, the cabin I built, so that was first. And then, went to building a kitchen, to, building a chapel, which was probably, that was a fun time building the chapel, because I didn't want it to look like it was built and moved there. So I built it on site, but a lot of people think that it was there because we tore down several buildings to collect all the lumber. So me and some friends of mine that work for me, we got in our truck, we went to Ashburn, North Carolina, and we tore down a tobacco barn in someone's backyard. And so that's where all the wood came from for the outside of the chapel. And then on the other side of Mullins, there was an old school that was situated on some property, and we tore it down and got some of the wood out of the old school. So everything's not from a local hardware store. It's got history behind it.
I love that. And that's what you talk about, that rustic charm.
Yes, yes. And it, like I said, the chapel has a meaning, and it's all it's used for is for ceremonies. We did a blessing of the chapel before the first wedding. So, it's strictly weddings. We don't take the pews out and have rehearsal down or anything. It's just you use it for a wedding or you don't use it at all.
I like that. And then after you built the chapel, what came next?
We built the inn, which is 4 individual hotel rooms on the property. We do have hotels in the area off of I-95 that a lot of people stay at, but then there's a certain amount of people that want to be on site because they're going to be with their son or daughter Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So they can rent a room from us on the property and never leave the property.
You see that a lot now. Before you go, you see that now that's already planned in new wedding venues. But I would guess that evolved from you doing the weddings and listening to your couples.
Yeah, definitely so. Yes, exactly. I listen to them. They might not think I'm listening to them, but I listen. I always ask questions. What can we do to to better service you, because that's important to me. I'm very, very detailed person. All the details matter to me. The small details make the biggest difference.
Well, you were ahead of the game. So you built what, the hotel, the lodge, and then what came
Yeah.
next?
We did I started thinking about my guest. I don't remember, I might be off, but this is something that we did do. We built a walkway from the chapel steps all the way over to the courtyard. And the purpose of that is, if it's raining, you have to worry about, the ladies with their heels on, the guys. And so I wanted them to be able to walk from the chapel and never touch the grass. We extended that walkway also to the parking area. So once they get out of the car, they're on a walkway to the chapel. And then when they leave the chapel, they're on a walkway to the courtyard also.
Wow, that was good thinking there, because I
Yeah.
think as a bride and groom and the bridal party, I'd be like, that would be a key to me wanting to say, I think I like this venue.
Yeah, because not everybody's gonna get the perfect weather, and we do weddings year round. So it doesn't matter. I always tell them if it's hot, cold, raining, snowing, I can handle it. So if you want to get married outside, plan it, and then it's something at the last minute comes up, and I've had that happen before, where they're getting married outside, and then all of a sudden a thunderstorm comes up, and then they just switch to the chapel. So then the guest or them do not have to worry about sitting out in the rain. So I think I have two plan A's. I've got a good outdoor ceremony area, but I got the chapel also.
That's very important, because oftentimes the bride and groom are left with, do we rent a tent? Do we not rent a
Yep.
tent? Or, but you already have the plan A, B, C, and D. So.
Yeah. And then we built the ballroom, which was a big help for us, because the pavilion is like 2,000 square foot. But then when you were doing weddings in August or July, or who knows, around here in December, you could be wearing shorts, it could be snowing. So if you had a big crowd, they were either in the pavilion or the courtyard. Well, if it was raining, they'd all have to be in the pavilion, which is 2,000 square foot, which is good size, but it's not big enough for 200 or 300 people coming to a wedding. So we built up a ballroom behind it. And so now we have around 6,000 square foot of climate control reception area. So that's been a big help for us also.
Absolutely. So, you've got everything covered there. The couples come, they have a great experience. Talk about the feedback that you get from them, after they have their wedding there.
Well, another thing too, I've got a great staff. I couldn't do it without the staff. I have someone that helps me give tours. I've got, a staff for the grounds. So I couldn't do it without them. But when you book with me at the venue, you deal with me from the beginning to the end. They have my cell phone number. They call me. I'm just very accommodating. I'm probably too accommodating, to be honest with you. I don't have a whole lot of rules. So I think that's, because a lot of our weddings are from out of town or out of state.
Sure.
And so, once they get there, they have pretty much everything they need, to have a good time and enjoy themselves. But also tell them they're getting married, but also you have it for the whole weekend. So it's almost like a family reunion, because as well as I do, you probably go to someone's wedding that you're kin to, but you don't get to see them that often.
Very true.
But this way, it's time for them to have a good time and have a wedding, but it's also time for family and all to catch up. So it's kind of like a wedding, also a family reunion also.
And people just come and I'm sure they just rave about the site, the amenities, and all that it offers. I'm sure you hear that over and over again.
Well, I hope so. I think we do.
Yeah, you can say it, brag a little bit.
Nah, we try. We stay on top of everything, and it's just, and there's a lot of things that go into a wedding venue that the public doesn't even have a clue. You got mosquito control, fire ant control, things that people don't even think about
until they get bit or stung. So
yeah,
have it covered.
Exactly. A lot of people think is, you just got a place and it just runs itself, but it doesn't go that way. Things happen, toilets stop up. It happens. This past weekend, the lock messed up on the bridal suite. We had to run down there and take the hinges off the door where the bride could get to her dress. So it's never a dull moment. But they know when they call me, we coming.
That's right. Hey, talk about, do you have any interesting stories of some of the most unique weddings that you've seen, or things that have happened during weddings? Good or bad, like the door getting stuck.
We've had our fair share of some things I probably don't know about. Probably don't want to know about. I do know that there was a someone with some military ranking that was there, and I think they had some security there, and they had their security at the gates, and they had their walkie talkies and all that, and the kids grabbed them and threw them in the pond. So that was one thing, and then actually a
That's
friend of mine,
not funny, but it is kind of
yeah,
funny.
yeah, yeah, and then a
Until
friend of
you
mine,
get in trouble.
yeah, then a friend of mine got married there, and the grooms decided to jump in the ceremony pond. I probably shouldn't say this, and he lost his ring.
Oh,
Yeah, lost his ring.
no.
So
Oh, no.
yeah,
The bride was not a happy camper, I'm
yeah,
sure.
yeah. And then I think this is another time when the groom disappeared, and he ran. He drove to Florence real quick because they couldn't find the rings.
Oh, no.
And then when he came back, they found them, but he didn't tell anybody he was going. He was hurrying up trying to go buy the wedding bands because they couldn't find them.
God bless him.
So
Gosh, can you imagine? He probably came back just dripping sweat, worried.
yeah,
to death.
yeah,
Bless his
yeah,
heart. And they
yeah,
were there all along.
yeah. They were there all along.
Hey, those are fun stories. You should
Oh yeah,
probably write a book.
yeah. I probably could. Probably could.
Oh gosh. Well, listen, as we close, what would you like to share with my viewers and followers about Hidden Acres?
Just thank you for all the support for all the years. It turned in from being a hobby to it's full time. So they can find us on Facebook and Instagram, and follow us on there. But if they're interested in us, they can call me at 843-430-0332 for a tour.
Wonderful. Well, you are definitely making dreams come true for a lot of wedding couples across the South. And hey, I really appreciate you taking the time to be with me today. As always, it's a pleasure to see you.
Well, thank you. Same here, and I appreciate it too.
You bet. Folks, that's going to do it for this edition of Conversations with Nicole. Until we see you again, we hope you have a great day.